sports leader. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is Game Night with Josh Hennick. Let's go! On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Let's go! Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennick.
Josh Hennig on the eve of Thanksgiving, hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. Hope everyone has a safe holiday. You know, this is a time of year for the 3 F's, right? It's family, food, and football. And I hope that you all get to enjoy the holiday in the coming days, and as well as you have things to be thankful for. And we're going to get into some of that this hour here on 97.3 ESPN. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. It is still a Weinberg Wednesday, so Dave Weinberg will join the show coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. Before we get to Dave, we got some items to get to here on the show. Before I get to the more of the fun conversation, I did want to hit on just a little bit of a news item, which is, with the Eagles playing on Sunday, it's kind of a little out of sight, out of mind about the way the week is playing out, because the Eagles' practice schedule is different. All of our personal schedules are different. But today, the Eagles still released an injury report. And the significance of this is who is on the injury report. Now, today was a walkthrough. The Eagles not actually have an active practice. According to reports, their active practice is going to be Friday, and then that injury report will be more of a concrete estimation. But I do think it's interesting the two names that are on the injury report for Wednesday who are listed as did not practice. And both of these names could have an impact on the game this Sunday when Merrill Reese and Mike Quick call all the action here in your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. And that is Darius Slay and Devonta Smith. So Smith already didn't play this past week due to a hamstring strain. And as we laid out last week here on 97.3 ESPN, I told you guys that, remember, Philadelphia kept A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert out of 3 games each. Jordan Mailata did not play 4 games. They all 3 of those guys, I should say, had hamstring injuries. So if the expectation is that those guys missed 3 to 4 games, I'm already been assuming that Smith is going to miss a couple of games here. Now, how does that impact the Eagles this Sunday? Well, it impacts the Eagles because we know that the Ravens' defense has gotten better in recent weeks. And I think that is an interesting part of this conversation because, on the year, Baltimore's defense is pretty mediocre, okay? Overall on the year, their pass defense has, frankly, been bad. What Baltimore has been good at this year has been their run defense. Baltimore has not allowed more than 122 rushing yards in 5 straight games total. Total rushing yards, okay? In fact, on the year, Baltimore's run defense overall is top 5 in the NFL. So this is a unstoppable force meets an immovable object, right? It is what is the Eagles' strength? Their offensive line. What is their best attribute? Running the ball. Philadelphia, one of the top teams in the NFL when it comes to not just running the ball, but total yards. Philadelphia, they are 7th in the NFL in points per game. They are 3rd in the NFL in total yards, but they're last in the NFL when it comes to pass attempts. They're number 1 in run attempts. So, without Devonta Smith, how does that impact what the Eagles do best? Do the Ravens try to hyper-focus on Jalen Hurts? On the Green Lake podcast, Chris Long and Bo Allen had talked about how impressed they were with the Eagles' offensive line. And for them, they feel the way the Eagles are running the ball and protecting the quarterback is the biggest difference between Philadelphia and other teams.
I think the Rams' young front is very good, and I think they're going to be very good. They're going to grow together in the league. But they ran into a buzzsaw last night. Like, there's one other group like that group, and I still like the Philly group because of Pass Pro. But Philly's group is just bigger, and you could see that when they were pushing guys around last night and opening holes, like little nudges on double teams on the way up to backers just turned into chasms that Saquon was running through.
Think about that. You have two former NFL players. There's actually three former NFL players because there's more than just Bo Allen and Chris Long who are part of the Green Lake podcast crew, but they all pretty much agree. The Eagles' offensive line, the way they play physically, the way that they dominate the line of scrimmage, that is the biggest difference between them and other teams. So, again, do the Baltimore Ravens have the personnel to limit? Maybe they can't stop them, okay? You saw versus Washington, Philadelphia's run game was slowed down before they eventually exploded. So does Baltimore have the personnel to impact the Eagles' run game enough to force them to pass the ball more? And how does no Devonta Smith impact that? Now, the other side of the injury report is there is no Devonta Smith. But who did practice for the Ravens? Roquan Smith. Now, Baltimore survived without Roquan Smith in the last game defensively. But part of that was because J.K. Dobbins got injured. He was having an amazing game before he got injured. And number two, Quentin Johnson of the Chargers couldn't catch the ball if it was handed to him. I mean, he had the worst game I have ever seen by a wide receiver I can remember in the NFL. Like, he made James Thrash and Todd Pinkston look good. Did Quentin Johnson on Monday Night Football. So, and if you're someone over the age of 30, you know exactly how those names I just named, former Eagles wide receivers, what that means, okay? I mean, we used to call, not me myself, but people who are over 30 remember, James Thrash was James Trash, and Todd Pinkston was Todd Stinkston. Like, that is the names Eagles called those guys. And if I'm saying someone is worse than those guys, yeah, you get the idea, all right? So it was because of an unfortunate injury and a receiver dropping the ball. The Ravens did not have more points and more yards on them. The Ravens defense, aside from one game in the last, 4 games, has played well. So can Philadelphia take advantage of this defense that has had some inconsistencies, that has some injuries to them? It looks like Kyle Van Noy may not play on Sunday. He is arguably one of their best pass rushers. So without Devonta Smith, can they impact the game? On the other side of the ball, the other Eagles injury that is of concern is Darius Slay. Darius Slay right now is in the NFL concussion protocol. Remember, in order for you to play in a game on Sunday, you must be cleared by 4 p.m. Eastern the day before. If Slay does not start practicing on Friday, if he doesn't start participating, how does that impact the Eagles against a Ravens team that, you may not realize this, they are a top 3 passing offense? Yes. This year, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is among the NFL's best in multiple categories, including leading the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, yes, has the most passing touchdowns in the NFL right now with 27. Now, It doesn't mean he's unstoppable. Doesn't mean he's immortal. Doesn't mean he's the best quarterback in football, but he's having a great year. And if you look at the distribution of those passes this year, you realize that there is not one dominant receiver. In fact, the Ravens have 3 different players who all have at least 4 touchdown catches this year. So if he's able to distribute the ball around, how does that impact the Eagles' defensive game plan if there is no Slay? You saw on Sunday Night Football that there were times the Rams picked on Isaiah Rodgers. They took advantage of him, and a couple times that Avonte Maddox was on the field. Now, you could argue maybe Stafford is a more crafty veteran quarterback than Lamar Jackson is, but still, you cannot ignore the reality that Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are having the best years of their careers. And when healthy, Nelson Aguilar has been a solid contributor for them. And don't forget about the 2 tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So how Philadelphia would come into this game with no Slay, with no Smith, could tell us a lot about how the game plays out. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And no, Jeff from Rich City, I'm not scared, okay, of the Ravens. I understand what you're saying. You say, I love the way the Eagles are playing, says Jeff in Ocean City. I feel they will win big this Sunday. Listen, Jeff, I do believe that Philadelphia is going to win. And I'll give out my pick a little bit later in the show, my official pick. But I'm just telling you guys, I'm curious to see how it plays out. I am curious to see how a game with a team that has specific strengths impacts a team like the Eagles that has injuries that may impact taking advantage of the other team's weaknesses. 609-403-0973. You know, typically this time of year, we like to be thankful for things, right? We love, our Eagles. We're thankful for our family, our health, blah, blah, blah. But, it's like the line, of Festivus. I got problems with you people, right? You know that line from Seinfeld? Well, it's texts like this that bother me, okay? And maybe it's because I'm tired. It's been a long couple weeks for me, okay? Been a lack of sleep some of these weeks. I'm putting in a lot of hours that nobody sees or hears about, but I do it because I'm passionate about what I do. I love the opportunity to be in sports talk radio. I absolutely love it. I'm so thankful to God for it. But I do have a grievance when people text stuff like this. If you have Lamar Jackson on your fantasy team, you know damn well he's the leader in passing yards, touchdowns. He only had one bad game against the Steelers. So, know-it-all Mr. 302 texter. First of all, whether someone has Lamar Jackson on their fantasy football team has nothing to do with knowing if he is the leader in passing yards and touchdowns. You can know that information outside of fantasy football, first of all. Second of all, this is not a literal, do you know or do you not know? Okay, it's a perception question, okay? Maybe nuance falls short for you, Mr. 302, but people like you are the reason why I don't get on social media as often as I should, okay? Because I'll be on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. I'll be on Facebook. I'll be on Instagram. Every once in a while, I'll fire up the Snapchat app. And people like you ruin it for the rest of us. Because people like you, Mr. 302, don't understand nuance. It's not a literal Lamar Jackson is the leader in passing yards and touchdowns this year. Okay? It's the perception that people in general, the general football fan, does not look at Lamar Jackson as that guy. The general average football fan, and this is something that my former co-host Deshaun Hendricks used to say for years, that people don't respect Lamar Jackson's passing prowess. It was something that him and I talked about for years here on 97.3 ESPN. It's the idea that because Lamar is a mobile quarterback, because he is perceived with this predisposed idea of him, that when you think of who are the passing leaders in the NFL, the first person that comes to your mind is not Lamar Jackson. The people that come to your mind, now it's wrong because obviously these other players are not having as good of a year as him, but it is Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys. So at the end of the day, you're taking the conversation and you're ruining it. Have a little nuance, all right? Stop being like Joel Embiid and grow up, Mr. 302. I'm going to talk to a real adult coming up next. Dave Weinberg joins me for a Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Three ball got Jared McCain injecting life back into the Sixers with a made three.
It's Sixers Rockets tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Time to work on your gift list with Black Friday deals at the Home Depot. Right now, get a select tool from top brands like Ryobi and Milwaukee for free when you buy a select battery kit. Choose from reciprocating saws, multi-tools, sanders, and more. Whether you're stocking up on power for your personal workshop or grabbing the perfect gift for someone else's. Get Black Friday tool deals delivered from the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online.
I need a new car. Under 20 grand? Okay, well, what's my trade worth? You know what? I'm going to Matt Blatt Kia, where I can get some straight talk.
Brand new Matt Blatt Kia Forte LXS, under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999. With any trade, that's less than most used vehicles. Currently buried in a loan or lease, Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released and into your new Kia with 0 down, 0 payments until February, even 0% for 72 months on every clearly marked new Matt Blatt Kia in stock. So bring any trade, because if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, 24 ED9, 1389 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackdfj.com for complete details. Or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Repaying after rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 12/4/24. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
I got a line.
He got a line.
She got a line.
We got 4 lines. Cricket Nation. Q finger guns. Really easy. Super stress-free. 5G so fast. Like blazing fast. Games and memes. You'll have a blast. You can get past 5G across 4 lines. You can get past 5G across 4 lines. As we discuss, take it from us. We for our one Cricket Nation.
And only $25 a line. Welcome to more lines. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Discount varies by line. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. The Sixers back in action tonight as they host the Houston Rockets. This will wrap up a 3-game homestand for Philadelphia, who once again will be without Paul George and Joel Embiid. Kyle Lowry also has been ruled out for tonight's game, and Caleb Martin is day-to-day with a back issue. The Sixers have lost 6 of their last 7. They fell Sunday to the LA Clippers, while the Rockets, they have won 8 of their last 10. Flyers in action tonight. They're in Nashville to take on the Predators, a one-game trip for Philadelphia. They're coming off a 5-4 shootout loss Monday to Vegas. Flyers have dropped 3 of their last 4. NFL Week 13, the Eagles are in Baltimore Sunday. They'll take on the Ravens. The game featuring the top 2 running backs in the NFL, in both Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. The Eagles, they've won 7 straight, sitting at 9-2. They're on top of the NFC East. The Ravens, coming off Monday's win against the LA Chargers, are 8-4. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Something is happening here. Off the New Jersey coast, a new offshore wind project is generating nearly $2 billion in economic benefits for the state. We're generating thousands of local jobs, but the most important thing we're generating is trust. Look closer at Atlantic Shore's offshore wind, and you'll see that we're generating a clean energy future with a team that values safety, the environment, science, and a commitment to being a good neighbor. Learn more at AtlanticShoresWind.com.
From the Towns Point, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Repeat after me, I am thankful for the rain. Prime time for wet weather tomorrow. About 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll pick up about a half inch of healthy rainfall. Turning cloudy tonight, low of 41 degrees. Tomorrow, periods of rain throughout the day. Could be heavy at times. Will start to dry out in the afternoon. High 54. Lots of sunshine with a chilly breeze Black Friday. High 48. Only 40 this weekend. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Hey, AI, how many touchdowns did the Eagles score in the 2023 season?
The Eagles scored 49 touchdowns in the 2023 season.
Hey, AI, I had a fall recently and need to recover. Please make me walk again.
I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities.
Hey, AI, my parents are getting older and I can't take care of them myself. Can you help care for them?
I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities. AI will never replace care. But here's what I found for the best care near you.
Autumn Lake Healthcare Centers, trusted leaders in skilled nursing rehabilitation and senior care, and proud partners of the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget about the Fanatics Sportsbook at the Gallery Bar Booking Games Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I know for some of you out there, you may want to gamble to get away from your families this holiday season, which in and of itself is a gamble as well, having holidays with family. One person I know who is genuinely thankful for his family is my weekly guest, Dave Weinberg. He joins me for another Weinberg Wednesday on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, welcome back in. How you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. Happy Thanksgiving almost, I guess, right?
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, exactly. You know, we're right there. You know?
Yep, getting close. No, I am very extremely thankful for my family. Thanks, though. Yeah.
Well, I know you are. I know for some people, like it's like they always look for opportunities to get away from their family. You know, it's like they're with some of their family for a few hours, and something like religion or politics comes up, and everyone wants to get away from each other.
Oh, we have an understanding. We don't talk about that kind of stuff at the dinner table.
Smart. You set the standard before they walk in the door, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, Dave, let's get to a little bit about the Eagles because they're on a 7-game winning streak, and
yes,
I think part of what we could be thankful for, to kind of stick with the theme, is we could be thankful for, obviously, a lot of things, right? Saquon Barkley. We could be thankful for the Eagles firing 90% of their coaching staff last year, right? But I think the bigger thing we could be thankful for is the fact that I think that we got to give credit to Jeff Stoutland because this man has turned a rugby player into a quality starting left tackle, a guy who played center 1 year in college into a legitimate starting center in Cam Jurgens, and a guy who played tackle his entire life into a right guard in Mekhi Becton. And we're at the point where you could argue they are the best offensive line in football because the way they chuck people sometimes, Dave, on those run and pass plays is just wild to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Verse being the exception against Jordan Mailata the last game, but yeah, they're
one play.
Yeah. But they're definitely an outstanding unit, and Jeff deserves a lot of that credit, the lion's share of the credit, if you will. He's been doing it for years. He's always able to to see what he has and make the most of it, even with the guy may not seem as suitable for the position that he's playing. But Jeff has an innate ability to bring out the best in everybody, and you're seeing the fruits of that this season, definitely.
And I think that it's because of that. Everything else relays off of that. Listen, I'm not trying to diminish anything from Saquon Barkley or anybody else, but I mean, listen, Saquon leads the NFL, Dave, in most yards for being touched in the league.
Mhm.
And it's not even close. It's like 70% of his rushing yards, the man is not even touched. And that's literally because of that offensive line. And, it's a crazy stat, Dave. The Eagles are third in the NFL in total yards this year. They've thrown the fewest passes in the NFL.
Wow, that goes against traditional wisdom, doesn't it? I mean, everybody thinks this is a passing lead. We've talked about that before, you and I. But yeah, the Eagles have they've turned into a running team, and they're making the most of what they have. Saquon's having an outstanding year. You talk all the time about the offensive line, and it's Jalen picks up yards with his legs when he has to. Even Gaineswell's been doing a pretty good job as spelling Barkley when he needs it. So yeah, it's really impressive what they've been able to do on offense.
I was listening to Chris Long on his Greenlight podcast, and one of the things that he talked about, Dave, was, and I love hearing from former players because they kind of give you a perspective. I don't play in the NFL, Dave. I'm too banged up and beat up and old at this point to even consider it. So, it's the idea that he's saying that, one of the big things for him is when he saw that Saquon ran down the field and celebrated with Kenny Gainwell after that touchdown. It's the joy the players have for each other. Chris Long said he saw none of that last year. I think that's significant.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, I think it was a pretty tight team last year until the wheels fell off, and then it seemed like everything went wrong. But yeah, it is the camaraderie is a big and chemistry is a big part of why the Eagles are doing as well as they are. As I've taught, just a bit of caution though. They were rolling last year too, even better, and then they kind of like fell apart. I mean, interesting to see if. I don't know that adversity will ever hit this team, but if it does, it's going to be interesting to see how they react to it.
I do think that last year was just a different vibe because, I was listening to Lane Johnson talk about this. Lane Johnson made a comment, instead of Fletcher Cox made a similar comment. It was Fletcher Cox was on the Up and Adams show, and Lane Johnson was on, it was Derek Gunn's podcast. I forget the name off the top of my head.
Okay.
But, they both said similar comments on different shows, which is they said they were winning games last year in uncomfortable ways. That some of those wins, they were missing opportunities, and the players, really felt that they weren't winning games in the ways that they should have. And it kind of makes you wonder, was last year's collapse inevitable?
Well, wasn't that the case earlier this year too? Everybody was complaining about, they're winning, but they're not really looking that good. They seem to have solved that problem, but the starts of games is still a concern.
Sure.
I am not around the team, often enough or at all to sense what kind of vibe is going on with the team in the locker room. But I just want to see if losing Brandon Graham is going to be a big test for them, both on the field and especially in the locker room. I mean, he'll still be around the team, but I've done it long enough to know that when the players are injured, they kind of fall by the wayside a little bit. They kind of get forgotten almost. I'm sure he'll still be a factor in the position meetings and stuff, but he's a big leader on that team, and he's not going to have the same kind of relationship with the players. I don't think that he's had to this point. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, I think.
Talk with Dave Weinberg, longtime Eagles writer, Extra Point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com, at Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform. Speaking of Brandon Graham, talk about for a minute, because you've been in a lot of locker rooms. Those reporters seemed genuinely shocked when he just dropped that bombshell on them. They're like, oh, by the way, my season's over. I tore my tricep. And it was almost like some of the guys, if you watch the video, they were like, oh, he must be joking. And he's like, no, I'm not joking. Talk about the what that is like for someone who's in the locker room, for a player just drop that on them like that.
Yeah, that was a stunning admission by Brendan. I mean, normally you got to wait for the day after. You got to wait for the test to come back. You got to wait for the coach to do his double talk about, well, we're hoping to be back. We're not sure what happens. We got to do more. We have to find more tests. So for Brandon to just come out and say, I'm done. That's unheard of. And yeah, but that's a credit. That's the kind of guy that he is. He's very honest. He's very forthcoming. He doesn't sugarcoat things. He doesn't hide anything. He never has. And but yeah, that was a very surprising admission by him. Right after the game.
For you, Dave, again, you cover pretty much all of Brandon Graham's career from when he was drafted and onward. And he has the most games played in an Eagles uniform all time. He's the only guy with over 200 games played. He's third in sacks all time. Some people say that strip sack of Brady is the most important play in franchise history. Yep. So this was his last year, like he's previously said it was. What is Brandon Graham's career in your eyes?
Eagles Hall of Fame, no question about it. Maybe you even consider retiring his jersey. I don't know, but yeah, he's been an unbelievable player and person for that organization on and off the field. Donates countless hours of his time to various charities. Never has a bad word to say about anybody, really. I mean, he's kind of honest to a fault sometimes, but that's just the way he is. And being from Detroit, maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know, but he's I have nothing but the utmost respect for him, and he's one of my favorite guys to talk to and to interview and to watch play, and he's really going to be missed. But yeah, he's no doubt one of the all-time greats as far as during my tenure, anyway.
It's funny you said what you said because the 2 times I've had the opportunity to talk to Brandon Graham, I just observed that he's an incredible human being. Like, it's not. I don't think people understand that. Like, there are some real turds out there in the world, and Brandon is nothing close to it. But you're also right that he's brutally honest, because I remember the one interview, because I was a producer for one show where he came on, and I remember him talking about how, when people were saying at the beginning of his career, the Eagles should have drafted Jason Pierre-Paul, or the Eagles should have had, Earl Thomas, he said, that made him mad, and it fueled him to get better. And he said in the interview that he said, I wouldn't be the player I am today if all those Eagles fans who didn't want me didn't piss me off, basically, is what he said.
Yeah, I can understand that, sure. And I got to give him a lot of credit back from the Chip Kelly era too, when Billy Davis was the defensive coordinator and totally switched and flipped the defensive scheme, where Brandon was basically an outside linebacker instead of the defensive end. He's been playing his whole career, but he never bitched, he never complained. He embraced the science behind what they were trying to do, even though a lot of people balked at it. But I mean, he was willing to do whatever it took to make himself the best player he could be, whether it's, like I said, switching positions or having sleep studies or sweat studies or whatever it was. He was all in on that, and not a whole lot of players were. So I got to give him. I had my utmost respect for him for not tilting the ship, so to speak.
So moving forward, no Graham going against a Ravens team that, I mean, listen, this is arguably the best team the Eagles will play the rest of the year until the playoffs. You look at their schedule, no offense to the Steelers, but they don't have the offense that Baltimore has,
Right.
And, Washington looks like they are hitting that wall, right, in their season. So, this is a game. Now, the good news is it's an AFC game, and it won't impact any NFC tiebreakers. But, it's still a measuring stick game, Dave. So, for you, when you flip on the game this Sunday, what is a matchup or a situation that you are most curious about this Sunday?
Boy, that's interesting. Well, it seems like you got both teams have incredible strengths at running back and at quarterback, obviously. So, Lamar Jackson's in the MVP race. He's probably a bigger favorite than Saquon is. So, going to be interesting to see how they handle that kind of pressure, I guess. And Derrick Henry against Saquon, Lamar against Jalen Hurts, even though they don't play against each other, obviously. But it's going to be interesting to see how they compare, I guess. The one edge I think it might be that Eagles defense, no doubt, is better than the Ravens defense at the moment, anyway. But on the other hand, I've always been a huge John Harbaugh fan, and ever since his days with the Eagles as a special teams coordinator, and it's going to be interesting to see like how the Ravens defense and the Eagles defense, how Harbaugh and Nick Sirianni, the comparisons between those two. It's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
You know, what's crazy is you mentioned Harbaugh. I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't have been a good coach, but I never thought when they first hired him that he would have this kind of career. You know what I mean? Like I thought he'd be really good. Like I thought he was a quality coaching hire, but like I mean, dude is arguably the best coach in the franchise's history for the Ravens at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, he was never well, he was special teams coordinator, but then he coached linebackers, I believe, with the Eagles before he got hired. So
Right,
everybody
for the
was
1 year.
yeah, everybody was a little surprised that the Ravens would go that route, but they dug into the family history. I guess they knew John from years of being with the Eagles, and were confident enough to take that chance. And yeah, I mean, nobody could have expected this, but he's a hard worker. He's very creative. He's willing to listen to players. He doesn't it's never my way or the highway. I was surprised when it happened, but I'm not surprised he's enjoying the success that he's having.
Yeah, and I it's funny you mentioned about, because I always love this story about how that because I believe it was 2007 that he got the switch to be the defensive backs coach. I think it was, and I remember Andy Reid told the story, Dave, about how John came to him and said, Andy, basically poured it out for him. It's like, my goal is to be a head coach in this league, and
exactly right.
what can we do? And Andy, basically, they talked about it, and they figured out maybe this is a way to get you more attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously paid off, because 1 year he's the coach of that position, and then boom, he gets the head coaching job. And I think it's an incredible testament to both men as well as the Eagles organization. Like, for example, I don't know how many head coaches would be open to one of their guys coming to them like that. You know what I mean? And
right.
Also for an organization like the Eagles to allow that to happen, like John Harbaugh had no experience, coaching defensive backs. Like if that happened, that would never happen in Dallas, for example. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Jerry Jones would be micromanaged to the umpteenth power, or like a organization. Well, before Dean Spanos stepped away, but like Dean Spanos apparently was like a jerk when it came to coaches with the Chargers for years. Like, for the organization and for those men to, basically allow that to happen, it's just a testament to everyone involved to me.
Yeah, they're willing to take chances, and they always look out for each other. I mean, they know how they got their opportunities, so they're always willing to pay it forward to give another coach another chance. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, Juan Castillo being an example from offensive line to defensive coordinator, that was a complete disaster. But they were willing to try it, and you got to give them credit for that they're willing to allow coaches to advance their own careers by switching positions sometimes.
All right, Dave, before I let you go, a couple Thanksgiving questions for you, okay?
Sure.
All right, turkey or ham?
Turkey.
Oh, exactly. See, you're with me. I had this argument with Mike Gill the other day. He's not a turkey guy. I'm a turkey guy, so.
That's not even a debate.
Well, apparently for some people it is. Favorite side dish?
Oh, boy. Stuffing.
You're a stuffing guy?
Mm-hmm.
Stuffing, according to a recent survey, is the number one favorite side dish in the state of New Jersey. So.
Oh, no kidding! Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be pork roll or something.
No. No, I wrote a whole article about it because it was a survey that was done. Apparently, stuffing is like the most popular Thanksgiving side dish in like 24 of like the 50 states, something like that. So,
how about that?
But New Jersey happened to be one of them. See, now it's not for me because my favorite is cranberry sauce. I'm a huge cranberry sauce person. There's nothing like, for me, dumping that cranberry sauce on the plate, Dave, with my turkey and my green beans. I can eat that forever.
Yeah. Is there something you won't eat? What's your least favorite side dish? It's
a good question because I feel like my family has kind of gotten to a point where we we don't have things on the table anymore that nobody likes. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Oh yeah, they kind of settled on the rotation, and
yeah, like we're kind of set in our ways. Like I understand that I stay out of my dad's way for his part of the Thanksgiving dinner, and like everyone kind of just stays in their lane, for Thanksgiving with the
okay, I
family.
gotcha.
So, but I would say that if I had to pick like a popular Thanksgiving dish, I am not a fan of any of the casseroles. Like to me,
Yeah, green bean casserole. No, I'll pass on
but
that.
any of them, some of these weird concoctions that people have come up with,
Mhm.
like you go to like, the times that you have a friend or maybe like, I've dated someone and like you go to like their family's dinner and like someone wants you to eat some weird casserole. You don't understand half of what's in it. And you're
Yeah.
just looking at it and you're like, do I want to eat something? I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, I understand. Yep. How do you? I'm not sorry to get off on a tangent, but
That's fine.
How does your family prepare their turkey? Do they deep fry it? Do they smoke it? Do they just cook it in the oven?
It's a regular cook. My dad does. It
Oh.
was actually a joke recently when I was talking to my parents about Thanksgiving. My dad tried to make a joke that he was going to deep fry the turkey and blow up the house. So
That's big with the Eagles players. Deep fried turkey.
Is it?
It's huge with them. Yeah. I'm a huge smoker fan.
Okay.
I have smoked turkey. It's delicious.
That sounds pretty good. I always laugh, and I know I shouldn't, but there's always those memes that go around every year about like the people who tried to deep fry a frozen turkey
Yeah, and
and like
goes
it
up
blows
in,
up.
Yep.
My favorite story is so there was a guy apparently in North Carolina, I think it was last year, and he put his turkey into the deep fryer in his house, left it on he thought was a low setting to go to the store and get more stuff. He came back, his house was gone.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And when he came back, they asked him, "Sir, is this your house?" And he says, "Well, it was."
Man. Wow.
Just like those weird stories of people who just don't have common sense. Like, no, you got to defrost the turkey first before you deep fry it,
Yep.
It's just
Can
so.
I kind of share one really strange
Go for it,
Thanksgiving
yeah.
story for you? My father, for some odd reason, he loved the neck of the turkey. I don't know why. No one else would go near it, but my mom, when she made it, had to save the neck for my father. So my father passed away on November 1st. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, November 14th, 2007. And at the eulogy, I spoke about him obviously, and that was one of the stories that I mentioned, that he always had to save the neck of the turkey for him, and I mentioned that this year we'll save the neck for you, Dad. 2 weeks later, Thanksgiving, my wife is in the kitchen, um, preparing the turkey, cleaning it out, and starts screaming from the kitchen. I come running in. The turkey that she had bought had no neck in it. Tell me that's not divine intervention or something.
I mean that's very convenient.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, hey, I can't save the neck if there is none.
Correct. Yep. We just like to think my dad took it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, he reached down from heaven and stole it.
There you go.
it was his last memento.
Yep.
It's like before I let you go, I know in certain Asian cultures, when people pass away, they will go to either the grave of the individual or they'll go to their favorite chair in the house or something, and they will leave like their favorite items, like maybe like their favorite food or their favorite, whatever. And so what happens is and this is kind of messed up, but so in Asian cultures, the children of the older, so like, say it was like your father, right? So like your kids would see you put that item there, but
right.
then the children would go and take it from the site. So the person thinks that the spirit of the person came and took the item. So like it would like maintain the person's faith.
I understand.
That
Okay.
They're doing something for someone. So it's like a tradition in certain Asian cultures.
I got you. Well, I don't think anybody took the neck, but they could have, I guess.
I mean, they could have. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you never know. That's true.
Not accusing your children of being Asian culturalists, but you know.
Yep.
Unless something I don't know about your kids, but
Right.
he's Dave Weinberg. Weinberg Wednesdays here on 97.3 ESPN. Extra point columns at 97.3 ESPN.com. 2-minute drills after every Eagles game as well on the website. And he joins me each week here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, as always, I appreciate you jumping on. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with the family, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, same to you, Josh, and thanks again as always. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Dave Weinberg here at Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform. All right, text board coming up, 609-403-0973. I got George in Summers Point. I also have another one from Jeff in Ocean City chiming in. Also, Mr. 302, I do appreciate this. Mr. 302 followed up, says, damn, Josh, shots fired, LOL. Have a good Thanksgiving. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Mr. 302, as well. Listen, man, if we can't, have healthy debates and disagree about things and smile about it afterward, then, well, are we really Americans? Like, I never understood the person who's like, I hate Thanksgiving. And it's like, why? You hate being grateful for things? I never understood that person. Like, I always said, one of my prerequisites in life is, whoever I date, for example, or like if you're in my friend circle, or like if I'm going to have like a long-term friendship or dating relationship with you, you can't be one of these curmudgeons. You can't be one of these negative people who thinks the world stinks and everything is bad and, the world's against me and like, I hate everything. Like you can't be in my environment and be ungrateful for things. And like, if you're the person who hates Thanksgiving, yeah, we're not getting along. So it's like, I appreciate the fact that Mr. 302 said, you know what? Josh got me on this time. Have a good Thanksgiving. And he owned it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. Coming up on the other side, we'll wrap up the Power Hour known as Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Baltimore against the Ravens.
Here comes the rush. They've got him again! Yeah, this offensive line cannot block the Eagles.
Pre-game coverage starts at 3 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 4:25. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Chris Coleman here. It's the Black Friday sales event at Kindle, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, with up to $4,000 total cash allowance towards select 2024 Chrysler Pacifica gas models. Need a truck for work or play? Get $4,000 retail consumer cash allowance on most 2025 Ram 1500 models. Financing through Stellantis Financial ends 12/2/24. See Kindle for details. Check out their huge 100-acre lot just off exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard and check out KindleDodge.net.
The best call to make on game day is ordering catering from the Piccalilli Inn. For parties big or small, the Pick does it all. Your guests will be cheering for the Pick spin on football favorites like pulled pork nachos, cheesesteaks, burgers, and their award-winning buffalo wings, tails, and ears. Get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the Piccalilli Inn. Join the flock and follow the Pick on Facebook or at Piccalilli.com for their Pick game specials. And be sure to pre-order to guarantee your spot in Sunday's lineup.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hey guys, stumped on what to get the women in your life this Christmas? Here's a hint. She doesn't want another sweater. Give the gift of relaxation this year. It's one size fits all and guaranteed to make you her favorite person at Breathe Salt Spa. Spa, located in Tropicana. She can indulge in luxurious massages, facials, body treatments, head spa therapies, and even their signature salt cabinet. Trust them, she'll love it, and you'll be the hero of the holidays. Visit Breathe Salt Spa today to grab a gift card or book her ultimate escape. Breathe Salt Spa, relaxation wrapped up just for her.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Is your home ready for the season? Worried about rooms that just won't stay warm this winter? Call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today to ask about a new energy-efficient system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. With generous financing options through South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric, plus additional savings through rebates from your local utility companies. Upgrading your system could also help lower your utility bills. Call Jenkins today or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get a $300 instant gift. Take 120 nights to love it or your money back. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
I'm Mike Mackler. At Goldenberg Mackler, we represent you, not the insurance companies. When seriously injured in any type of accident, call us. We'll speak with you for free and fight to get you the money you deserve. When injured, make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler.
For the best lawyer, call Goldenberg Mackler with 4 convenient locations to better serve you. Atlantic City, Northfield, Rio Grande, and Vineland. Call us at 609-344-7131.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family, so I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Tired of hearing no? Everywhere you go, we turn no into go during Black Nissan's November sales event. Say no to high-priced new cars. Brand new matte black Nissan Sentra S, just $19,999. Say no to low trade offers. AJ the Trade Man wants your trade, no matter the make, miles, or condition. Say no to down payments. Say no to payments for 90 days. And say no to high interest rates. 60 months, 0% financing on every clearly marked new Nissan. Backed by Matt Blatt's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Tired of hearing no to a discount on a new ride? New 25 Sentra S, under 20 grand.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Approved Tier 1 credit for Nissan. Negative equity finance. PIN number SY231649. MSRP 22,730 plus tax tag at $689.50. Offers can't be combined 0% for 60 months. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 12/5/24. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, check out the text board at 609-403-0973 we get out of here for the Thanksgiving holiday. George Summers Point chimes in. He says, Josh, I'm confident for the upcoming Eagles game. However, I'm a bit concerned about the loss of Brandon Graham. He's been a huge part of the Eagles' defense this season, and not having him may allow the Ravens to run their offense a little better. He says, I totally agree with you. The cranberry sauce is the best side, but it has to be homemade. He says, I hope you get to enjoy all of it tomorrow. Yeah, the thing with the homemade is that you can't always get your hands on the homemade. So, you kind of have to make a decision sometimes, right? It's the idea that, are you willing to have I hate saying it this way, a lesser version of something, right? Are you willing to bite the bullet and have a lesser version of the cranberry sauce if the homemade is not available? That's always a bit of a determining factor. Jeff from Ocean City says, will there ever get to a team to a point where they retire too many jerseys? Probably not. I think that most teams have a kind of a projection head count of how many jerseys they can and can't get away with when it comes to retiring them. So, but that's just kind of like my perspective on that. All right, before we get out of here, I know a lot of you always like to hear my picks for the football game, so let's get into that right now. I'm getting the feeling that the Bears are a better team than they were previously this year. I think they've come a long way, so I do like the Bears cover the 9.5 versus Detroit on Thanksgiving. I think Detroit wins the game, but I think Chicago finds a way to cover that number. If I'm going to go with an anytime touchdown prop in that game, I do like, I do love the anytime touchdowns. I do, at least in this game. I think you would be safe going with a Jameson Williams touchdown plus 202. I got 0 pick for the Cowboys game. I mean, that game's just going to be ugly. That's the point where you might want to either take a nap or maybe consume an adult beverage to get through that game. And then Miami versus Green Bay. I think Green Bay takes hold of that game. I think Miami, they're going to keep having trouble in the cold outside. It's giving the -3.5 in that game. Happy Thanksgiving. I went tomorrow. Thanksgiving all day long, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Join us for all 3 games of the John Madden Thanksgiving celebration. Hi, this is Scott Graham of Westwood One. First, it's the Detroit Lions hosting the Chicago Bears, followed by the New York Giants and Dallas Cowboys, and finally, the Packers and Dolphins from Lambeau Field on Thanksgiving night. Our special holiday coverage begins at noon Eastern. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at 97.3 ESPN.